In our world today, 30 million people work against their will. That's double the amount of people taken from Africa during America's early years. These people are children carrying rocks weighing as much as themselves, women sold on the streets, servicing 9 or 10 men in a single night. These people are all around us, hidden behind an illusion of happiness. These are the slaves of today, and they need to be saved. In the 1800s, a slave would be sold for as much as $50,000. Today, entire families can be enslaved for generations for as little as $18. These people were so little generate $13 billion a year. Work trafficking is a major form of slavery, especially in third world countries. Children enter into slavery and are never freed. Their conditions are the worst possible. Stuck in caverns for days at a time, without light, breaking rocks with primitive tools. Many of the clothes, utensils, and household objects were created by someone who has no freedom. Lisa Christine traveled the world visiting places where slaves work without pay. Children work in lakes where their lives are at risk every day in Lake Kariba. They wake up at 1 in the morning and don't end their work until 8 at night. They carry fishing nets filled with fish weighing thousands of pounds. Nobody in the lake didn't know of someone who had drowned. These children didn't even know how to swim, but they were forced to work. In India, people work with toxic paint, dipping their hands into dyed clothes. We have no freedom, we have no escape, a slave said. However, these people can have freedom. Free the Slaves is an international organization that works every day of the year to save as many people as possible from slavery. Started in the year 2000 by Maurice I. Middleburg, Free the Slaves has rescued over 12,000 people from slavery. I am honored as someone whose family has been touched by slavery in the past to be in the position where I can work to eradicate slavery in the future, he said. Right. Some people don't have to work in mines or caverns, but rather work in hotels and salons. People are lured to America with promises of a great job, a fresh future, and a new life. Upon arrival, however, their passport and ID is taken away from them, and they are forced to work with threat of violence. We live around slaves all the time. The person who did your nails, the lady who cleaned your hotel room, the man who made your food, all could have been working against their will. Many are uneducated on just how much our daily lives involve slavery, especially the products that we use. That's why Slavery Footprint was made, a website where someone can calculate roughly how many slaves were used to create your everyday life. I took their survey and found that about 37 people worked without pay to make the products I use daily. Just like their website says, one is too many. One of the most common forms of trafficking is sex trafficking, exploiting somebody's body for money. These will commonly occur as in-houses, where a pimp will put someone in a hotel room soliciting johns all night long. Many assume that these pimps are men, using their girlfriends to their advantage. However, 1 in 3 people arrested for human trafficking are women. Many claim that this is because women are more trusting of other women, while men are seen as more dangerous. Many people wouldn't expect a woman to do something so heinous. However, it still happens constantly. People will go to great lengths to prevent people's escape. In October 2015, an unnamed doctor received a note from a woman saying, "I have a tracker in me." The doctor originally thought that she was psychotic, suffering from schizophrenia. However, he noticed how collected and normal he appeared. She pointed at her flank, and the doctor sees an incision. The doctor cut into it, and sure enough, they found an RFID chip, the same chip used to track dogs and cats.
An estimated 100,000 to 300,000 children are sold into slavery in America alone. That's the equivalent of the entire population of Pittsburgh. Slavery isn't just a foreign affair, however. It's happening right in our backyard. As many as 500 minors are working as prostitutes in King County. That's more than our senior class. Let that sink in for a moment. Children who enter the trade as early as 12 or 13 years old, working every night without pay. Trafficking in Seattle is such a big deal that the entire SPD Vice unit was too busy to answer any of our questions. Helping someone that is being trafficked can be harder than one might think, however. Stockholm Syndrome was first studied in 1973, when 4 people who had been held hostage during a bank robbery in Stockholm, Sweden refused to testify against their captors. Stockholm Syndrome's significance arises because it is based in a paradox, as captive sentiments for their captors are the opposite of the fear and disdain an onlooker may expect to see as a result of trauma. These people develop bonds with their pimps, often convinced to believe that they are doing this for their own good. Many psychologists argue that this is a coping mechanism and that they are only saying they are happy so that society doesn't dislike them. Only large amounts of therapy can help someone cure their Stockholm Syndrome. I left home to work for them when I was 18 years old. I did not know I would become their slave cooking, cleaning, taking care of their elderly parents and their grandchildren. I worked from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. or later every day with no days off. I was never allowed to go anywhere by myself. They took my documents, and they threatened me with deportation and jail. One time she tried to hit me. I was a slave and a prisoner. This went on for 16 years. I never got to get married or have children. I wasn't even allowed to have friends or go to church, said a King County trafficking survivor. King County has been hard at work to fight against trafficking, mostly through raising awareness. Many of the immigrants brought here on the premises of a new life are told that they will be put in prison if they disobey, and they believe it. In addition to training staff to recognize a trafficking victim and the signs of it, King County has launched the Help Stop Human Trafficking campaign, putting advertisements about the rights of humans on more than 200 King County metro buses. Beyond that, any youth between 12 and 17 may approach a bus driver and ask for assistance, who will then help that child be reunited with family who can help them, or if that might be a problem or not possible, a safe shelter. In our world today, 30 million people work against their will. That's double the amount of people taken from Africa during America's early years. These people are children carrying rocks weighing as much of themselves, women sold on the street, servicing 9 or 10 men in a single night. These people are all around us, hidden behind an illusion of happiness. These are the slaves of today, and they need to be saved.